My first story is a very difficult story to do because it concerns the death of a 13-year-old young man in East Columbus, Ohio. A man was robbed at gunpoint by a couple of men, and he said that one of the men who robbed him was carrying a gun. Now, I don't know if he referred to them as teenagers or men, but obviously these were teenagers. At least the young man who was shot later, his name was Tyre King. He is 13 years old. Tyre King, apparently, according to police reports, he fled from the police, as did the rest of the boys, down an alley. Police chased him, and at some point, according to police, Tyre King turned around and exposed what appeared to be a firearm. Now, the firearm in question turns out to be a BB gun, and Tyre King turns out getting shot a number of times. He later died at a nearby hospital. And this also happens to add in Ohio, where we know Tamir Rice lost his life with a toy gun. Now, the similarities between this case end at the fact that Tamir Rice had a toy gun, because everything else about it is a little bit different, in my opinion, and vast differences. One was, no one said this looks like a toy. Second, this toy, or this BB gun, which isn't really a toy, it's a toy, but it does shoot something, projectiles. It was used in a robbery. What do we got to do to get some freaking body cameras so we don't have to rip apart America every time somebody gets shot by a cop, particularly when the victim or the deceased is black? What do we got to do? You got money to buy special tanks and battle gear and protective gear, but you don't have money for freaking body cameras. And I'm pissed about it because this is all avoidable. Of course the parents have the responsibility. Of course this young man was doing the wrong thing. But we like to see this for ourselves, because I'm very skeptical when it comes to police stories. I just am. I'm sorry, no offense to you specifically, but they said Laquan McDonald lunged at him. And they said they only shot him once. They shot him like 10 times, and he never lunged. And this is all after when we looked at the body camera. So excuse me for not just lock and stir believing an officer who I don't know. The last thing I want to say about this situation is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this young man has lost his life doing something as stupid and foolish and criminal as this. Obviously, he had no real intentions of hurting people. It wasn't a real gun. It's just to scare people and get money. I would like to know the economic situation of a young man who feels that he has to rob people. We don't want to address these types of issues because it's easy to say these kids are not trained properly and they're just bad kids whose parents must go to the club every night and don't know where the kids are and these types of things. But there's so many ripples and so many other angles we can look at this story. But the one angle we always fail to look at is, what are we doing about it?